Hey everybody, it's Star. How you doing today or this evening? I don't know where you're viewing from, but I would like to hold space, some sacred space. Let me move this screen over here. There we go. That's better. I'm going to settle in and let everybody come on in and say hello. I'm going to use my singing bowl here. I want to be able to just kind of provide a sacred healing space if you would like it. If you don't, that's okay. You can click off. But if you do, welcome. And those that click off, they're just not ready yet. So take a deep breath in if you would like to participate. I'm going to just go ahead and place the singing bowl here. Nice cleansing breath out. We'll do it 2 more times. Ready? Feels so good. One more. Take your time. Nice breath in. Thank you so much for allowing me that minute. Welcome to you guys. I'm Star. Most of you guys know me by Star Delta 9. Today I want to talk and present another video under the Cracked Wide Open series for you guys. I think there's a dimension of consciousness that's beyond the thinking mind, and many are not aware of it, and they are trapped in the habitual thought pattern in their mind. And behind thought is a space of awareness. It's a space of awareness that you can discover, and many need to discover it, but whether they do or not, it's something we're all seeking. We're seeking it in people, places, and things. Our happiness, our joy, our unconditional love. And we can find those in people, places, and things, but it's generally very short-lived, and then we're on seeking the next thing that's going to make us happy or make us feel full or make us feel loved or accepted or who we are, right? So awareness is kind of the midpoint. And I've been experiencing quite profound changes in the last 2 years since I had my awakening. And I want to do this video because I think it's touching, very personal to me, and Spirit's kind of guiding me to do this. And when you're being guided like this, you're being propelled energetically and pushed, okay? And there isn't a whole lot you can do except surrender to the flow, or just go through a lot of suffering in the process of a eventual goal that you will accomplish and take on. So today I want to present a different type of video. And I think this is what's truly needed out here. The collective consciousness, there is not enough consciousness. There's not enough awakened conscious people to sustain the negativity that's going on in the collective. You can look around anywhere we live, in any state you live in, with the COVID-19, the rampant wars, the people going to jail, the crimes, the arrests, the drug abuse, you name it, we're abusing ourselves one way or another, right? And so there truly, I think, needs to be more wisdom in our collective consciousness. More sacred ground needs to be held for light workers. They call them light workers for many reasons, or energy workers or energy healers. You can put any word or verbiage you choose to put on it. I just don't put labels on anything anymore, because I don't seek anything from any person, place, or thing. I just give what consciousness is asking me to give, and I'm just the conduit in which it's coming through. That's it. So especially now, since we're in this new paradigm, I don't think it's coincidence that she's asking me to do this. I think it's perfectly lined up, and it's especially now since the new paradigm, and I believe people have been awakened, many of them. And this is my opinion on my research and my Googling and all the things I've read and looked up. And it's hard to sustain. It's hard to sustain a spiritual awakening if there isn't a support system to assist you to integrate the process. And a spiritual awakening, an aha moment, a coming to Jesus moment, I don't know what you want, whatever you want to call it. It's a process. It's a process, just like the process that your deep-seated soul learned, conditioned, limiting behavior that you keep repeating over and over again, that create the same results for yourself. And you go, why is that happening to me again? It's a deep-seated, unconscious behavior that you're not aware of. Until you become aware, that's why they call it awareness, you're not aware. So it's by no fault of your own. So I want to reiterate that. So it's hard to sustain a spiritual awakening if there isn't a support system to assist you in that integration in this process. How do I know that? Because I've had no one to assist me in my integration process in this. I've learned. And I'm not laughing because I'm laughing at anybody. I'm laughing because that's all I can do, right? It is go with the flow and say, okay, Spirit, what is it you want me to learn? What is it you're going to show me? Because sacred symbolism is shown to me, and I have to figure it out, what it is, what it means, and what it means personally to my life, because I'm the one that's on my hero's journey. Your journey is your hero's journey, and his is his, and hers is hers, and so on and so on. But what the problem I'm finding during mine is I don't have support. I have lots of videos I can go to and look at where people tell me, well, this is how long it's going to last, and these are the symptoms, and this is this, and this is this, and generally it's after the fact. It's after the fact. Well, if I'm awakened and I'm sitting in consciousness, my first thing is that if I'm seeking something, then I'm really still resisting, am I not? I'm resisting. And so I remember saying in the beginning of my awakening that I don't want to read anything. I don't want to be influenced by anybody. I want to sit down with me, my inner me, kind of like the tarot, the hermit on the tarot deck in the cards, to go inside who? Inside me, to gain introspection to me, to who I am. Because when you asked me who I was, I would say, I'm Cheryl. I'm a nurse. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a grower. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a this. I'm not any of those things. I'm none of those things. Those are simply experiences I had as a sentinel being in this human body. And I learned and gained wisdom and was taught things through that. That's all. That's all it is. This reality, people ask me, what is it? Now, I don't want you to change your belief system because I'm saying something. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my goal here. I'm only trying to put some guideposts out, some stop signs, or maybe just a different way of looking at something to see if it assists and helps, and have a space where you can come and leave a comment and be live once a week and hold space as an energy healer, a light worker for people who want it, right? Because that's what it's about. Oneness. We're together in this. We're not separate. That is the very first illusion that your mind tells you, that we are separate from God and others. You're not separate from anything, only what your mind tells you you're separate from. Nothing's bad or good. It's only what the mind tells you is. Who said that? Someone said that. I don't know who fucking said that, but someone said that. So I believe there have been, during this new paradigm, this new age of Aquarius, where we have transitioned from the 3D into the 5D, the age of Aquarius. Look at your dang cell phones. It says 5G on it, doesn't it? It no longer says 2G or 3G. It says 5G. I believe people have been awakened or come to Jesus or had an aha moment. If you Google it, it's in the millions, okay? The number is in the millions. Many, in my opinion, cannot sustain it for two reasons. They don't have a support system to assist them to integrate the process. It's a process which can be very difficult, and it's a process which can be very easy. And when I say that, I'm saying that in regards to two things. You could have had the most beautiful upbringing by the most beautiful parents, and your awakening could just be sitting in the living room like Michael Sanger's, and he just had an awakening and he had no resistance to it whatsoever. None. Or you can have an awakening like me, or like Eckhart Tolle, who had a extremely heavy pain body, my physical pain body that I had. It was gut-wrenching and hard and as simple as the nose on my face. Okay. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to sustain it myself because of the things that I was being shown through sacred symbolism, through divine spirit, God, whatever you want to say or label him, our creator, as. That's your choosing. I say my creator or God or divine. The sacred symbolism wasn't a note on a card. It was a box. It was prison bars. It was a giraffe. And if you start to break those things down, they're going to mean things to you. The sacred symbolism that's being shown to you is yours. It's yours personally, just as mine was mine personally. And I bring up mine because that's all I have to go on. And so I can share it with you. Mine were boxes, literal boxes, like the Jack in the Box boxes that you would crank up and the Jack in the Box would pop out of, and prison bars. And it took me probably 6 months to figure it out. And she kept giving it, or he kept giving it to me over and over. And I'll get back to he or she in a minute, because I could not put the pieces together. And I said, okay, what you have done, now that you have figured it out, 4 months, 6 months later, you have placed yourself in a box. You have placed yourself behind bars mental bars, mental prison in a mental box based on a limiting and habitual mind pattern belief you were taught. When you have your awakening, you know what you were taught is wrong and it's not true. It's pseudo. What does pseudo mean? False. False. So it's false. And when you become aware it's false, then you know it's a behavior and you can do something about a behavior, and you are no longer being run on the egoic mind, that mind, that voice in the head that never shuts up, that you're running off of, that creates a thought. You begin to think a habitual mind pattern, which creates an emotion in your body, and you're off and reacting before you even know it based on that pattern, not even based on consciousness and right here, right now. Doesn't make it right or wrong. It makes it what it is. It doesn't make our parents bad or good. It doesn't do anything. It's only what the mind says it is. Our parents didn't know better. I didn't know better. That's why God says, turn the other cheek. They know not what they do. That's why he says that. So it's a process which can be very difficult and very easy. And the reason I call it he or she is because I am consciousness. I am Buddha. I am oneness. And I am female. So therefore it's a she. If you ask any other guru, spiritual teacher, energy worker, they're going to tell you the same thing, and it's going to be based on their gender. Because when you are awakened and enlightened, you realize you are that. And that right there in itself is difficult. Okay. So each person is individual. Each person's journey is individual. And their journey is just that. It's their journey. No one's journey is ever the same. And if you walk another man's footprints, you walk his journey, don't you? One must walk their own journey so he will be allowed to try something or do something here, right? Why are you here? So if you'll maybe indulge me for a few minutes and allow me, my goal is to assist and to help and to hold sacred ground for those who are in need of it and want it. And I'm going to attempt to explain it in as simple terms as possible for you. And I'm going to use a different modality. I'm going to use a different modality because I'm going to use what I know. Okay. And my medical career has allowed me the privilege to help many others. And all of you understand this process, I hope on some level, not on every level, because like I said, it's a process. That's why I keep saying that word. So today I'm just going to briefly, I'd like to just touch on our bodies, okay? Because when I start going into the mind, then people start saying, they get a little confused because they can't wrap their head around this analytically. And the reason you're not going to be able to wrap your head around a spiritual awakening analytically is because it's not a thing. It's not a person, place, or thing that you can label or attach yourself to. It is a feeling. It is a feeling that comes from inside, and it emanates from the inside, and it pushes out, and it's unconditional love, and it's rocking you, and it's joy, it's bliss, it's peace, and you just get lost in it. You just get lost in it. I could be in meditation and I'm for like, okay, I'm going to meditate 40 minutes after yoga. And then next thing I know, it's noon because I get lost in it. I can't help myself. So like I'm saying, my medical career has allowed me some privileges to help people in many areas. So I want to see if I can help in this area as well, because I've been a healer for the last 40 years as a nurse and a respiratory therapist and a mom and a wife, and I'm a sentinel being, and I'm a light worker. I'm a Reiki practitioner. And so now I want you to help you understand this process. So today I'm just going to briefly talk about our bodies, and I'm going to talk about it, our physical body, as our physical body is a set of organized principles. Okay. And behind the working of all of our organs within our body, it's called conversion. That's what that if you look at a medical book and you ask the medical book, what is our physical body? Well, they'll say it consists of a set of organized principles that work behind the scene with all your organs within your body, and they call it a conversion that's going on within your body. Okay, so I'm going to try and lay it out as layman as I can, because if I start speaking all these big old words, you're not going to get it. This conversion I'm going to use as, okay, this conversion of oxygen, food we consume, right? That is converted into energy, right? It's if you go to work in the morning and you don't have your oatmeal or your toast and your banana and you're running on empty, by noon or 1 o'clock, you're running out of energy. You don't have enough energy from the conversion of your food, the conversion within your body, to consume and allow you to continue throughout your day, right? So we are all made up of energy, okay? Our heartbeat, our circulatory system, the immune system that protects our body from free radicals or invaders from coming into our body, from us getting sick. That process is called translation, okay? And how translation, I'm going to just touch it briefly because I'll do another video on it. That translation takes place a few ways: by sensory input, okay? And that sensory input comes into your body. How does it come into your body? Through your energy pathways, your chakras, whatever you want to call them. You call them what you want. I call them chakras because I work with them. And I also call them energy pathways, meridians, and many other things too. But that sensory input that you're receiving is coming into you. And at the same time, you're sending sensory input back out. Okay? Have you ever walked into a room and said, I can suck the tension in this room off my back right now. Can you feel that? Or you've walked into a room and you said, oh my God, this is one of the most peaceful places I've been in, and I don't want to go anywhere. Sensory input. You took sensory input that was energetic through the atoms and the molecules in the energy in the atmosphere into your chakras, into your energy healings and your centers. You had a conversion that took place within your body. It was automatic. You didn't even know it was happening. It's automatic, just like your heart's beating, just like you when you go to the bathroom, just like when you get hunger pains, just like when you wake up in the morning, just like when you go to sleep at night. It's automatic. You don't even know it's happening. Okay? So then you put energy back out. Okay? Well, there's a problem. The reassembling occurs here, right? What happens is this sensory input that's coming into our body is coming in via, the only way I can say it is nerve impulses. That's going to make it more specific for you, and that are sent out, and then those nerve impulses, okay, because we know we have electrical activity that runs through our body, because you can see it on an EMG, you can see it on a brainwave, you can see it on when someone puts you on an EKG monitor, when they test your blood pressure, you can see it, okay? So this sensory impulses are then sent to your brain, okay? Now your brain's a machine. No different than a freaking computer. Okay? You just got some decoded and warped programming in there. That's all. So your brain, now it's sent to the brain. The brain is going to decode it and translate it. Okay. Now, if you look that up in medical terms, you'll hear all those words I just got done saying, right? So this sensory input that you go to, you're picking up by via nerve impulses, and they're sent into your body by your energy pathways, your chakra systems. They run between the bottom of your sacral all the way up past your crown. Most people will speak of 7. There's far more than that. There's many in your hands, many in your feet. There's far more many than 7. So I'll touch on that on another video. So what happens, that information that you took in via impulse, via that nerve impulse, your brain decoded it, right? And translated it. And you're going to respond, react, or do according to your thought pattern, your habitual mind pattern. I don't really have any other way of saying that. If you keep thinking something that's, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to amount to anything, why do I try anyway? I'm always going to get these results. That's what you're going to get, right? That's a habitual mind pattern that you keep telling yourself in your mind, and you're believing, and it's creating an emotion in your body. It's usually making you angry or fearful, right? And you shut down, you fragment, sabotage oneself based on that limiting behavior or belief system you were taught. It's not even your system. You were just taught it. Okay? So a resembling that goes on here, there's a reassembling of that translated information, right? It occurs, and this is in, I think if I say that, maybe I should say it, there's a reassembling of the information, okay? There's a reassembling of that information that's been translated and that occurred, and this then is transferred into a coherent image, okay? And that image is usually, it's a picture. It's a picture of you and your outer reality in a nutshell, right? Okay, so does anybody have any questions? I can't even see the chat. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for stopping in. I cannot even see the chat. I'm sorry. I'm so into what Spirit's doing and saying to me because I'm not the person who's really, I'm only speaking my medical knowledge because I have it, right? And I'm trying to give it to people because not everybody has a medical background and they don't know. So I'm trying to give it on a level that is on layman's terms, which without offending anyone, I'm saying anyone's less than or greater than, because we're not. No one's superior, no one's inferior. It's only what your mind says it is. So I have no judgment. So if there's questions, please ask, because it's a lot to take in, and I understand that. Please believe me, I understand that because I've been going through it. The 28th of this month will be 2 years gut-wrenching inner work, hermit work. So, excuse me 1 second. I'm parched. And when I started this video, I told you behind every thought, there is this space. There is this space of awareness, consciousness, oneness, divine, divinity, our creator, right? Unconditional love, peace, joy, bliss. You vibrate on a resonance that should be electrocuting you. Your doctors can literally feel your body vibrating, and they're asking you, do you have some kind of shunt in your body or something? I'm like, no. But what that space is When you are able to see that space is where you can witness that thought. It's kind of like you looking out a window, if you will, and you're the person looking out the window, but now you're inside yourself and you're looking outside at yourself, right? It's kind of mirroring you. That's why I do tarot, and that's why I do divinations, because tarot cards are meant to mirror your life circumstances and let you look at things in different ways, aspects, and avenues. Another video. So the reassembling will occur, and this is going to be transferred into a very coherent image to you. And that coherent image to you, it will be a picture of yourself and your outer reality and what you think of it and what it is, what you identify with, right? So questions, please leave them in the comment section below, because when you ask a question and I don't know the answer, I go on a search to find it in meditation, and Spirit brings me the answer. When I'm doing Reiki on people and sending, I get so many downloads that it's unbelievable where I don't know where some of this information's coming from. It's just there. I can't help it. And I know it's there because I feel it. She shows it and it shows up. It's like, if I could ask you one question, if you could intuitively know what's coming, what would you do with that? If you could intuitively know the secret of the universe, and you could intuitively be listening to your intuition and not being run on the egoic mind, what happens? The ego dies. Yeah, it dies. The voice in the head. I haven't had a voice in my head in 2 years. I'm not being run on the Judy Jetson's robot where I push autoplay anymore. It's very profound. We truly are a multidimensional being having a human experience in this world. Our physical body has its own intelligence. If you don't believe that, just go look it up in NASA or any of the science books. And I'm not talking about extraterrestrial, but it goes to that level, because the sensory input that I get from patients that I work with, clients, I can take psychic abilities, psychic sensory input, and translate it into sensory. And I can take sensory input and translate it into psychic. That's why I'm a psychic, medical, intuitive healer. I mean, if you put it all in a nutshell, but that's a label someone's putting on me. These are not my skills. They're gifts that are I'm just the conduit in which it's being used to deliver. It's not mine. The minute you think it's yours, you're really not a guru. You better go back and do some more soul searching, possibly. I'm just speculating here. Because I have my own gut-wrenching inner work where I think I'm done, and I think I've gone beyond something, and it's like, no, you better get back on your knees, cry, and do whatever you need to do. Walk through the fear. Light workers, why are they called light workers? Anybody? Light workers are called light workers because they have the capacity to take a problem, a sentinel being, through darkness and bring them into light. They have the ability to unblock a meridian in a energetic pathway from darkness or negative, habitual, limited belief pattern that's created them tremendous amount of emotional and psychological and physical suffering, and untransmute it off of them through darkness is light. And that's the only way through. You don't get to the light without going through the dark. That's why they call it the dark night of the soul. We are truly multidimensional beings having a human experience, and we're sentinel. We're sentinel in nature in this world, and this world is our playground. It's no different than if you suited up your kid and said, here's your bat, the best cleats I could buy you, the most amazing glove, and you put his cap on and you tell him to go kick ass on the field. That kid's going to go and do that. Why? Because he has no habitual limited belief within himself yet. He's just going to go out there and take the world on. When people say, what is oneness? I said, look at a child under the age of 5 or 6. Look at an animal. That's consciousness. So our physical body has its own intelligence, as do pets, flowers, plants, wildlife, In fact, all this and much more is occurring really simultaneously within our bodies, and it's coordinating itself perfectly. Do you think you control it? The intelligence does. You don't control it. And it's also responsible for our body's responses to like our outside or your outside environment. Yeah. And all these functions are coordinated by this intelligence. This intelligence in us will react in every thought we think or whatever the mind tells us. That voice in the head that I mentioned, the one that never shuts up. I had it. This intelligence is what brought the first planet into existence. It's kind of like, I think about it like this. It's kind of like our creator created this universe, and then he I don't know, maybe he got bored or something, or maybe he wanted something more to be manifested, and he manifested a plant, and the plant turned into a flower, right? The flower opens its petals in the daylight, in the sun, right? The sun is the masculine energy, our creator, and it closes back down at night with Gaia, our feminine energy, our emotion. And this same intelligence, it gives rise to reactions instinctively. Although the body's smart, it doesn't even know the difference. This is what's so fucking profound, because I've tested this. Even though our body is so smart, my body does not know the difference between an actual event or a thought. It doesn't. So it reacts. And it reacts to everything as if it was fucking reality. I'm no longer doing that. That's why I know it is profound and multidimensional. And the voice in the head that told me the stories that the body believed and that I reacted to and behaved in a certain way with an emotion, causing a reaction that caused me suffering or others or family members suffering in my area. I did it. That's me. It's a reaction, as if everything is reality, because it's based on what your mind and your thought pattern is telling you. The voice in the head, the story you're telling yourself. The body believes it and reacts to it. These are just reactions, and reactions are emotions. The energy now is going to feed back into the original thought, right? And then we get a vicious cycle, the hamster wheel going on. Now we're just reacting with an emotion, feeding it back to habitual thought, and acting and reacting and having an emotion and feeding it back to habitual. It's like, God damn, get off the hamster wheel. It's unexamined thought and emotions giving way to emotional thinking and storytelling. You're fucking telling yourself a story. And you're telling yourself the story generally. What is I need a second because I'm getting all riled up because I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. The way that our Creator has worked this out, the way that it happens, the things that happened, I didn't even know spiritual awakening could exist. Okay, no clue. So if I didn't know, many didn't know. So, and when you, I didn't follow spiritual gurus and seek guidance. I didn't even know they existed. And because if they did, God, do you think I wouldn't have sought it? I would have sought it with every ounce of my body, every cell of it. Because I'm telling you, and I promise you, this is exactly what you want. This is exactly what you want. You don't want to keep having that unexamined thought and those emotions that are giving away to that emotional thinking and storytelling to stay on that habitual vicious hamster wheel. It's a vicious cycle. The energy, it's you have to stop and think it's unexamined. And the reason I say this is because I know where I sit now because I'm sitting here now. I've been through the dark night of the soul. I had a very profound birthday on the 15th of this month. I'm a midlife crisis. I'm midlife, right? And I'm now preparing for death. And so when you're born and brought into this world, you're full of life and spice and all those things, and you go and you thrive and you bloom like a flower, like that plant, and you open up your petals in the sunlight and you just go, right? Go, 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 go. When you have a spiritual awakening and you find this space that is behind the thought, it's awareness, it's consciousness, it's your Creator, right? And this awareness is the midpoint between, how can I say that? It's the midpoint between dimensions. It's a gap. There's a gap in space, right? It's consciousness without conceptually thinking. It's or being importantly rooted. Say rooted, I guess. Right? I'll just use that word, rooted. It's empty. It's empty. It's if I'm not mistaken, I think the Buddha talks about that in the realm of emptiness. That space that I'm talking about, that dimensional space, that bridge, how can I explain that? How can I explain that, Spirit? Please help me. Okay. Where I am sitting right now is, I know this. I had some very deep-seated habitual mind patterns that I was taught. And I operated on them for a very long time. And it harmed me over and over and over and over and over and over and over until this happened, until the awakening. Now I have awareness. And now I don't have to repeat something that I couldn't figure out why. Why is this? Because that's why I'm going to have to reiterate this again. You're not aware you're doing it. Okay? I'm just trying to give you some guideposts and some stop signs and just maybe ask you to ask yourself to go on a little scavenger hunt, a little excursion, put a little pair of glasses on and a hat and go out and search and investigate some of the things I'm talking about. When you get where I'm at, you are literally sitting in the kingdom of heaven with consciousness, your Creator. You are rocking in an unconditional love. You no longer are attached to people, places, and things that did not serve you, that harmed you, fell away like magic. And I sit in the kingdom of heaven here now, and I have a sense perception of the awareness, and my mind is capsulizing, analyzing the sensory. It's like I catch it now. I can catch it. Like if our ego is will die, the egoic self will die, yes, but we still will have ego. And ego is not a bad thing if it propels you to a positive that brings healing and wellness to you and to the other person, right? But that's generally not how we're operating on, because the voice in the head is a habitual thought pattern generally. And you're not even aware that you're trapped in your mind with those thoughts. And it's no different than me saying I wasn't aware that I was trapped in my mind with my thoughts that was creating constant sabotage to herself and causing constant suffering to herself, where she could never amount to anything, because that's what she told herself. So of course that's what she was going to do. But your soul knows what's best. Your soul knows what's best. The emotional component of ego differs from person to person, and I would really like to discuss next week, maybe talk about emotions and ego. But there is a dimension of consciousness beyond the thinking mind that you're not even aware of. And if you are aware of it, then leave a comment below, because I would love to collab with like-minded individuals. We are all made of energy. If you go look back at atoms and molecules and how they're made up, and if you take two molecules or two atoms and they find each other and they're of the like mind, of their like individual counterpart, they come together. And when they come together, it's quite miraculous. They disappear and then they pop open again, and they pop open as 4 photons. What's photons? Light, energy. What is the very first creation? Light. So the awareness that I'm talking about, that's the midpoint between the dimensions, and that gap that's there, that is the consciousness that's rocking me. That is myself sitting without conceptualizing anything. I'm not trying to one up anyone or put anyone down. I'm not trying to do something to gain a what's the word? I don't have, there's no agenda. I guess I could say it that way. There's no agenda where I'm trying to gain something from it. I'm doing what Spirit's asking me to do, and I'm being a channel for people that are possibly in the same situation that I'm in, and they don't know what's happening to them. Maybe someone's new, maybe someone's ahead of me, maybe someone knows more and can help me, because it's about oneness. When I help you and promote healing to others, that healing is brought back to me and I heal. It's that loop. It's that sensory input that I was talking about in this video. And if I send out positive, loving, healing, light, love, unconditional consciousness, that's what's coming back to me. If I send out anger, worry, sabotage, fear, resentment, grievances, opinions, I'm judging. And if I judge, then I know not what I do. And God says, if I turn the other cheek, they know not what they do. I know what I do now. And so therefore it's behavior, and therefore behavior I can change. And this is something that when it happens, you'll want to change. And if you have, I believe that's why I did this video this way and talked about these topics and the way I did, because if you're at all like me and you share this video, or someone sees this video and they say, I've had some really strange things going on, and I've had some real aha awakening, come to Jesus shit happening to me, and I don't know what's going on. I don't want someone, if I can help one person to avoid the first year that I experienced, because I ran from the emergency room to the mental center, to telling them they need to lock me up because I've lost complete touch in reality, to I'm vibrating, something's happening to me, right? To I didn't know. And I don't think that now, when I go back to saying I wouldn't change a thing, I wouldn't change a thing. If you didn't know, or if you don't know about a spiritual awakening, I would just say that's part of your journey. You're not knowing. And that's part of your suffering that you have to go through. And that'll be part of your enlightenment once it occurs. And that was part of my story. And so I have no judgment there. I have none. Consciousness I am in consciousness without any conceptual thought of anything. There's no importance to anything that's really rooted. I don't do anything for a goal. I don't seek anything for love, joy, happiness, or fulfillment. I stand on my own 2 feet in my truth, in consciousness. I rock in heaven with the kingdom, in the kingdom of God. And you can call it God, you can call it consciousness, you can call it creator, you can call it the doorknob. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter. You will not want to move, and you won't move. And so I don't move. And the only time I do move is when action is required. The alarm goes off. I got to get up and go to work. I got to go to the mailbox. I got to get the bills out of the mailbox and write physical checks. That's action. That's all it is. Once the action's done, I'm back here. And the whole time I'm in action, I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. I'm grateful to be doing what I'm doing. I'm grateful to be doing what I'm doing. I'm planting my gardens, and I'm reinventing myself. I don't know who God, or where she's taking me. I don't know where this is leading, and that's okay. But it's so simple. The one thing that all it takes, and I'll leave you with this thought. All it takes is surrender. If you really sit here for a second and you say, and you are breathing properly, you are using prana breathing properly, you will feel the breath of spirit when you breathe in. That is the gift of life. You will no longer take it for granted. You will want to share this with as many people as you can to assist them, because it's what they're searching for. It's what I was searching for and didn't even know it. It's what many of us are searching for and don't know it. And that's what I mean about the amount of negative energy that's out in the collective. That's why I do tarot. If I'm looking at something, generally people, places, and things are mirroring us. The person that says, well, you're making me do that. No, you're making you do that. And you're just mirroring that thought off of another person because it gives you an escape. It gives you someone to blame. And if you have to blame someone, then you don't have to take responsibility for your actions, do you? It's, as I said, as simple as the nose on your face, but so hard. If you make it hard, it doesn't have to be hard. All you have to do is breathe and sit in consciousness. Feel your hands. Put your hands together and ask yourself, do I feel my hands? And then take your hands apart a little bit and ask yourself, now can I feel my hands and what do I feel? You can try it and move your hands in and out. And you'll probably tell me what everybody else tells me. You feel kind of a resistance, a wave. You feel kind of a warmth in the hands. That's energy. It's because you have energy chakras in your hands and in your feet. And that's why light workers are able to work with clients remotely, animals, and send out energy because it's sent out by a nerve impulse of sensory information to that person. Their mind, their body receives it as another energy sentinel being, and their brain integrates it, like I was telling you, and they feel it, and it assists them, and they don't even know why. They're like, oh my God, what's happening? And it's a beautiful thing. And through clearing the energy, them healing, it allows me to heal because they always give back. They always give back. And that's that biofeedback loop. We are a biofeedback loop, the heart and the mind. You're not the mind, you're not the body, you're not the thoughts, and you're not your emotions. I'll leave you with that. You are a sentinel being having a human experience in this reality, this 5D reality, and this is your playground. How are you playing the game? How are you playing the game? Subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel, please. Sound off in the comments section below. If your soul has a question that wants to be answered, ask it. Give me a thumbs up. Share the video out to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't care, anywhere, because there are people that want to hear this information and that are ready for it. And if you're not ready to hear the information and you listened, you're just storing it for later. It's still going to be beneficial to you, and it's okay. You're just not ready yet, and that's okay. The journey's individual, as I stated. I love you guys so, so much. I do, and I do this for you. I'm going to be doing more. I know it's not as, I'm not even going to say that because Spirit's asking me just to speak. It's not, I don't have structured videos on this yet, and I plan to be putting some of those together, but I don't want structured videos on this yet. I want people to see this raw. I want people to see this authentically. I want them to ask questions. I want people to reach out to me that know I'm struggling with something and help me. It is a win-win situation, but I cannot receive if I don't give. It's that simple. I can't plant a seed and expect it to grow into a plant or a flower if I don't give it sunshine, feed it, and give it water. Right? If I don't nurture it and babysit it and love it and be kind to it, be kind to yourself. This life we're living, that's the hard part. Dying, that's the easy part. That's the easy part. There's no death. Where I sit, there's everlasting life. There's no death. So again, it's a win-win situation. So if someone brought this to me and said, hey, I could tell you the secret, I'd be like, I'd be on the edge of my damn chair. I'd be like, tell me, please tell me. And some people are younger and they're not ready and they're not at that point yet, and that's okay. And some people are older and ahead of me, and I'm looking for that teacher, and the student's ready to learn, and I am the student. And when I am the teacher and the student, it's no different. I'm still taking this world on, this reality, this playground. I'm just playing the game on my terms now. My Savientry free will. And now I'm just enjoying the rest of whatever I have here, whatever time I have here on this planet. God, it's not anytime soon that I'm going to be taken, but I'm just going to enjoy it, and I'm going to experience every single thing that I want to, that I need to, that I haven't. I want to run in the rain. I want to eat candied apples and go naked in the beach. I want to have the best sex of my life. I want to do all those things. But those are just experiences that I want to have in this 5D reality world to gain more knowledge about what? Myself. I negate myself and sit in oneness, and the rest is just flow, and I follow the flow, and I surrender to what is and what will be and what should have been or what was, because you don't have the past and you don't have the future. All you have is right here, right now. I love you guys.